Assalamualaikum. Hi, this is our proposal presentation. So we prepared this presentation for Sir Zulfadli Saifuddin. And these are our group members. 3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Technology development around the globe has pushed our academic institution to produce a perfect student in terms of creative thinking, problem solving, social skill, leadership skill, good communication skill and more. This is a big problem because the technology development has improved our life system but not the education system. According to Prince EA, our education system has not changed for more than a century. As you can see, a lot of students come to school or college not to learn new things and improve themselves, but to pass the examination. This has affected the students' mental health. Academic institution can be a good place and a bad place for students as it can affect the mental health of the student. Campuses are also well positioned to develop, analysis and disseminate best practices due to their intellectual orientation. According to Hans and Iceberg 2010, college students provide a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to address one of the most serious public health issues affecting late adolescents and young adults. According to the World Health Organization (WHO) 2008, as cited in Hans and Iceberg 2010, said that in the United States, mental diseases account for about half of the diseases burden among young adults. According to one study, 60.5% of people had moderate severe depression symptoms, 28.8% had moderate to severe anxiety symptoms, and 8.1% had moderate to critical stress level. The mental health affect differently according to the gender of the student. According to Esbert et al. 2007, female students are more likely to have more serious depression and anxiety problems. However, male students are more likely to commit suicide. Silverman 1997. What worse, students with bad mental health tend to take drugs and nicotine than compared to students with good mental health. Blanco et al. 2008, cited in Hans and Iceberg 2010. After the coronavirus disease 2019 COVID-19 outbreak, the mental health issue among the university students have become worse. In Malaysia, the movement control or the MCO has carried out in order to control the spread of COVID-19. According to the MCO, the academic activity needs to be done through online distance learning (ODL). ODL has caused the mental health issue among the university students to become worse due to many aspects. First and foremost, it is hard for students to focus during ODL due to the many interference. For example, students tend to check their phone when the phone is ringing due to the notification. This led to students to lose their focus during the study. According to James Clear, the writer of The Atomic Habit, a bad habit can occur when a trigger cannot be avoided. In this case, the trigger is the notifications. Some students feel stressed when they cannot focus during ODL, which led to the mental health problem. Next, students find that it is hard for them to express their feeling to friends due to the ODL because students can only meet their friend virtually. So it will cause the student to become lonely. According to the Kawachi and Beckman 2001 as cited in Hafner and Ellsberg 2009, the people who are physiologically distressed are more likely to be socially isolated. Thus, research needs to be done in order to find a better solution for this mental health issue among university students due to ODL. That's all for me. So we will move to the next person, which is Alec, to present about the problem statement.
Hello, my name is Alexander Lasius, and now I will explain or present about the problem statement, which is for our topic about mental health issue among UiTM students. COVID-19 has made a huge global impact, which is around the world, where it is include the high mortality, loss of income, and also like right now we are dealing with the social distancing, and we are dealing with the learning through online ODL. So Malaysia Higher Education Ministry decided, which is on 27 May 2020, that all teaching and learning staffs activities in all universities, including UiTM student and other higher education institution, where it must be performed online or ODL. Learning through online helps students and the lecturers to overcome the problems because of this disease, which is COVID-19. However, this has led to stress among the university students, especially for UiTM students. And this stress can lead to the depressions, which is it can be more worse by the anxiety. So this study that we are going to search, we will show and expose the factors that lead to the mental health issues among UiTM students during online distance learning. And then the second one is we are going to provide the solution to prevent this problem from increasing in the future. And then the third one is we are going to unleash some basic information on mental health issues among students, especially for UiTM students. So this slide here shows the statistic about the mental illness among students during lockdown, which is done by Nabil Hassan Al-Humaim on 2021. He found out that around 67.1% person in 2021 feel stressed during online distance learning. So he found there are a few causes that lead to the stress of the student, which is the first one is because of the quantity of the online tasks. So this is the main causes that lead to the stress of the student. Second is unfamiliarity with the informations technology platforms that they use, for example like Microsoft Teams or any other the online platform that we use now. And then third one is limited internet access. This is also one of the main causes that lead to the stress of the student. And the last one is insufficient experience dealing with online learning platforms. So there are three main objectives for our topic, which is about the mental health. The first one is we want to investigate the level of stress among UiTM students. Second is we want to ascertain the knowledge level of UiTM student, which is about the mental health. And then the last one is we also want to determine the factors that lead to the mental health problems, especially for UiTM students.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Nur Shafika binti Zulkifli, and today I'm going to present and continue this presentation with my part, which is the significance of this study. So surely this study has its own positive point. So first, what is the positive point or the significance of this study? Firstly, this study will impact the UiTM student. By how? By conducting this study, the student will have some ideas about their mental health state, whether they are in a normal condition or whether they are in abnormal condition. Because maybe some of them might have experienced some symptoms that are related to the mental health problems, such as depression or anxiety disorder. Hence, by having this topic being appointed, they surely will make a step further to prevent the illness from becoming worse in the future. By how? They will have, or maybe they will visit specialists like doctors or psychiatrists for further examination and maybe get some prescription if needed. So next, it also will impact the UiTM's organization, as the UiTM's organization be the center of the attention, especially the student affairs organization, which they are responsible about the matters regarding about students. They may have impacted by this study, because With this study, they will take some action to overcome the problems being experienced by the students. So maybe some action, they will raise the awareness about this topic. So by how, maybe they will hold a sharing session by inviting a motivator and discuss about this topic. For example, they could they hold a sharing session on Zoom with the topic of how to cope with your stress during the pandemic and or during ODL, so on. For example. Next, move on to the counselors. So before pandemic started, counselors are like a major helper to the students. They are like the only source that the student rely upon. So as this pandemic started, there is some limitation to come over to the counselors. So maybe counselors also might take some action, like maybe they could hold a counseling session online, like on Zoom or in Google Meet, and so on. Or maybe this idea is brought by some Indonesian researchers, where they invented an application about counseling. So in their research, the counseling application does help the student to cope with stress during ODL and also during the pandemic. So lastly, it will attribute to the MOHA, which stands for Ministry of Higher Education. With this topic being discussed, it will open the eyes of this organization to pay extra attention and for them to make a strategic plan to handle this problem very well. For instance, they might implement a new SOP for ODL to work efficient. Next, we'll continue with limitation. So this study does have several limitations. First is that the sample size of his study is small, and it can't represent the whole university students in Malaysia. Therefore, in order to represent all the university students in Malaysia, a bigger sample size is needed. The last limitation for the study is that the questionnaires itself cannot be the only test to be taken by the students to determine their mental health state. More detailed tests by the specialists are needed for them for further examination, because according to Haver and Goodman, online surveys are usually biased by some selective and limited precipitation. Hence, it will affect some crucial points of the test that being done. So I think that's all from me, and this presentation will be continued by my friend Basit.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Basit Arif, and I will share about the previous study for this presentation. So according to Ajmal and Ahmad, mental health is just as vital as physical health, and depression is common among new university students. Those who are unable to adequately balance work and academic may suffer negative consequences such as dropping out, distress, and physical health issues. So previous reports have proven that new entrant students had a high rate of depression than students in subsequent years of study. Anxiety was found to be a key factor influencing student academic performance in research done at distant learning university. While according to Leisure, people were pressured by sudden abrupt change to exclusively digitalized communication channel. Despite the fact that the student had worked with IT prior to COVID-19, the rapid switch to totally digitalized communication channel was difficult, so the technical requirements were not met equally effectively by all students. Some others thought that setting up various IT tools was difficult, while some students stated that the technology was flawless. Others complained about the technical issues such as a poor internet connection. According to one, students are experiencing significant level of anxiety with online learning during this epidemic. In other words, the former traditional learning approach continued to be prominent and preferred by students. As a result, students are nervous about every class activity and are concerned about missing a lesson. Furthermore, poor mental health has a detrimental influence on student motivation and interest, leading to health problem. Lastly, according to Chow, research published in China in February 2020 shows that college students' fear about pandemic is linked to their location of residence, parental income, whether they live with their parent, and if a family or friend has been infected with COVID-19. During the COVID-19 crisis, certain students may be more vulnerable to social isolation and emergence of mental health disorder. This is especially true for students who receive less social support, have less direct contact with close family and friends, live alone, and are less well integrated into a student social network.
This study will be conducted in UiTM Selangor. The subjects of the study will be 30 students from UiTM Selangor. The aim of the study is to get to know how much students have mental health because of open distance learning. In this study, students will answering questions related to mental health which is caused by open distance learning.